elected official reimbursement for PSTATS. There was a question on the township receiving bills from some of the elected positions that weren't requested before, like trainings and such. It's a recommendation from PSTATS that it is a good idea to request any type of purchase or expenditure that you're making in any elected position capacity prior to making that expenditure of money. So, any discussion on that?
We have to make a formal ordinance or resolution.
PSATS didn't recommend that, but it's a.
It should be in writing somewhere so everybody knows.
So, I have a comment on it. So, I remember Ms. Canady in the December meeting telling you that she purchased a course. She paid for it with her own credit card and handed it to you guys for consideration to pay. At that point, you guys could have put it up on the agenda at the next meeting and said yay or nay. I'd like to know who authorized Bobby to reach out to Michael Crooney and Sarah Scott about it, because that probably costs more money than the course. And then spend time, from what I can see, contacting PSATS and printing out the second-class township code. Ms. Canavy didn't do anything other than pay for the course herself and give it to you in consideration that maybe you would reimburse her, which that's not doing anything wrong. You could choose not to reimburse her. Just put it on an agenda and vote yes or no. But this got a little out of hand for a woman that was willing to take 2 hours of her own time to take a webinar course to learn how to do her job as an elected auditor better. And then a lot of time was spent with secretarial, with attorneys, with PSTATS, with copying the second-class township code. You could have just said no. It got very costly and very embarrassing for her, and it's a shame.
I have a comment for that. When you had a stack of papers of insinuating that I was doing something wrong with purchasing a truck and a jet ski, why didn't you go through the minutes like you did there? I can tell you why. Your whole
I
purpose
did
was
go
to
through
make
the
me
minutes,
look
Rick.
fat.
Excuse me.
Was there an approval to get that truck detailed, Rick?
I hate to
You want
bang-
to talk about getting stuff approved for before the board? What about veterans park?
Excuse me, I hate to bang the gavel,
Refunds.
but we have to have decorum at the board table. Please.
It's a
I respect-
$38 decision
Please, I
with
respectfully
$400
ask
worth
the
of attorney
board
fees
that when
attached.
there is a member that has the floor.
It's called a
allow
discussion,
them-
Ms. Dare.
Allow them to complete their discussion and their point, and then absolutely it's up for debate with any other member. It has to be in an act of decorum with respect to each one of us. I'm going to
Agreed.
reiterate that as far as Robert's rules, please. So, Mr. Lawson, do you have anything else to say? You were
No, I'm
interrupted.
done.
Okay, and was there any other debate or discussion on that item?
Yeah, I think the same decorum should have been held for our elected officials that, like I said, did nothing wrong other than ask you for the consideration of reimbursement for something that she paid for herself.
Okay, is there any other discussion on
Yeah,
it?
I got, to me, it's good information, because if I wanna go take one of these classes, and I didn't know I had to get this pre-approved, and, you know, to me, it's educational to me. Because I'm, being in a 6-year term, I wanna start going to these classes and doing them. Now I know, if I'm gonna go something, I better get it pre-approved, or I'm gonna pay for it out of my own pocket.
Good point. So if I may, my opinion on this item is, I absolutely think that the bill should be paid for the elected position. I know in my several years here, I don't remember coming across a bill received without it being on the agenda for approval. Usually we don't buy, the supervisors at least don't buy anything unless it's pre-approved, because we're so conscious of the taxpayer dollar and what we're spending. And often we are questioned a lot at the podium, which we should be. You should all be watching us like a hawk. That's what you should be doing, absolutely. So, but there is a protocol, and this was something new our staff came onto, and they didn't know how to handle it. So like we do everything, we bring it to the board table and we discuss it. I'm quite sure that what you all did in the administration is use the resources around you to try to solve the problem and make a recommendation to us. Is that correct? Okay, so the discussion is supervisors, I think that the bills that we do have, they should be paid. I'm fine with it, but I would like to see the board move to some type of policy. We have to watch spending, and we should have something in writing, so we know that any expenditures need pre-approved prior to.
That
That's
goes
my
without
thoughts.
saying. Like I said, Miss Canavy paid for it out of her own pocket. She was willing to do it either way, whether you approved it or not. She didn't do anything wrong, and it could have just been brought to this board. I don't know under what authority anyone in the office staff has a right to get the, opinion of the attorney. How much does that cost? I mean, that could have just been something that was brought to the board. You want me to put this on the agenda? Do you not? Send a letter, Ms. Canadian. But to reach out to the attorney, which in no doubt costs tenfold what the cost of that. And she was willing to take it whether you reimbursed her or not. She only asked the board to consider that.
As a reiteration, I've never received something personally from one of the elected officials. I don't know that every supervisor up here knew that there was a specific bill. Secondly, if I may please finish my statement. Secondly, nobody up here ever accused anybody of doing anything wrong. Thirdly, the request to the board is exactly what you see on this agenda tonight. It's the discussion on the issue. So, again, I would like to see this in some form of a simple resolution, maybe drafted by the staff to save on the fees. And something short and sweet, if the board concurs, that explains that we need to have any expenditures pre-approved by the board in the guise of watching money.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, absolutely.
Would that even go for PSTATS seminar? That is being automatically billed here and not personally to the official?
Are you talking about the spring convention?
No, there was another seminar that was attended and the bill was sent here for us to pay without pre-approval. So I'm asking you guys because
Okay, my opinion, and I'd like the board's opinion to weigh in on this. I think we have to put a line on procedure, and that's, again, what's being brought at the board tonight. I think we need to have a resolution. I think if there's an appointed official that went for education, I think that they should be paid. I want to hear from everybody else. But going forward, we need to have a procedure in place, which is why this was on the agenda tonight.
I agree, we need a procedure and a resolution.
I don't think we should complicate this simple, but we do need procedures, because we are being called out for expenditures, for every dollar, exactly. So we're continuing what we've always done, which is putting everything on the agenda. And I think you all in the administration handled it great, thank you.
So do you want that bill placed on the agenda?
Yes, I think please put those bills on the next bill pay list, so we can expedite, that's my opinion. Board, think differently?
I agree.
Okay, item 5, discuss